When the Golden Girls appeared on television in the middle of the 1980s, it became much more than just another comedy show. It turned into something that people everywhere talked about and loved. Viewers of all ages watched Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia make them laugh with their clever jokes and wonderful personalities. The show broke down barriers, talked about subjects that were often avoided, and gave fans some of the most memorable TV moments of that time period. However, not every scene was welcomed in the same way by everyone. One particular scene caused controversy and was thought to be too shocking for its time. The Golden Girls first appeared on NBC in September 1985, and nobody could have guessed how popular it would become. The show continued for 7 successful seasons until May 1992, with 180 half-hour episodes in total. Every week, viewers tuned in to watch 4 older women living together in a house in Miami, Florida. The cast was truly unforgettable, featuring Bea Arthur as Dorothy Barak, Betty White as Rose Land, Rue McClanahan as Blanche Devoe, and Estelle Getty as Sophia Petrillo. Together, these 4 actresses made television history. The sitcom was created by Susan Harris and produced by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, along with Touchstone Television. It quickly became a favorite among viewers everywhere. Paul Younger-Whitt, Tony Thomas, and Harris worked as the original executive producers, helping to create a show that felt fresh and bold for its time. What made the Golden Girls so special was how it mixed humor, friendship, and everyday chaos. These women were not just characters on a screen. They felt like real people that viewers might know in their own lives. The comedy was sharp and clever. The timing was perfect, and the chemistry between the 4 actresses could not be denied. Critics loved the show as much as regular viewers did. The Golden Girls won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Comedy Series and 3 Golden Globe Awards for Best Television Series in the musical or comedy category. Even more impressive was that all 4 leading actresses each won an Emmy Award, something that only a few sitcoms have ever achieved. For 6 out of its 7 seasons, the show was ranked among the top 10 Nielsen ratings. Years after the show ended, it continued to receive praise from critics and new fans. In 2013, TV Guide put it at number 54 on their list of the 60 best series of all time. A year later, the Writers Guild of America placed it at number 69 on their list of the 101 best written TV series of all time. As Terry Tang from the Associated Press noted, the series continued to attract new fans well into the 21st century and held up better than other sitcoms from the same era. But beyond all the awards and recognition, there was something deeper about the Golden Girls. The show presented older women living full, funny, and complicated lives at a time when television rarely focused on this group of people. While fans loved the jokes and the famous cheesecake moments around the kitchen table, there were many interesting things happening behind the camera that most people never knew about. At the heart of the Golden Girls was a simple but brilliant idea. 4 single women in their later years would share a house in Miami and face life's challenges together. Blanche owned the house, and her advertisement on a grocery store bulletin board brought Rose and Dorothy into the picture. Later, Dorothy's mother, Sophia, moved in after her retirement home burned down. From there, the stories developed with both humor and heart. Each episode often followed a similar pattern. One or more of the women would face some kind of problem, whether it was family drama, romantic trouble, or a difficult decision, and somehow the solution always came back to conversations around the kitchen table. The kitchen became one of the most important parts of the show. Late-night talks, slices of cheesecake, and moments of complete honesty happened at the center of every episode. The women would share stories from their own lives that were usually funny, sometimes heartbreaking, and occasionally completely ridiculous. Rosa's stories from her hometown of St. Olaf often made no sense at all, while Sophia's tales stretched the truth in hilarious ways. The show sometimes used flashbacks to past episodes or events that happened before the show began. These moments gave fans a deeper look into the characters' backgrounds and made the comedy even richer. The finale came in May 1992 when Bea Arthur decided to leave the series. In the emotional final episode, Dorothy married Blanche's uncle, Lucas, played by Leslie Nielsen, and moved to Atlanta. Sophia was supposed to go with her, but ended up staying in Miami with Rose and Blanche. The finale drew a massive audience of 27.2 million viewers and became the 17th most-watched television finale at that time. For fans, it felt like saying goodbye to close friends. While the show had ended on screen, the stories behind the scenes were just as interesting and dramatic as what viewers saw each week. When the Golden Girls first aired, nobody involved could have predicted the magic it would create. Executive producer Tony Thomas once said they were surprised when the show debuted at number 3 in the ratings, especially since it aired on Saturday night, when many people were out doing other things. But contracts were not the only source of drama behind the scenes. Betty White and Bea Arthur had a famously tense relationship when the cameras were not rolling. Betty admitted years later that Bea was not particularly fond of her and found her to be a pain sometimes. It was Betty's positive attitude that made Bea mad at times. Betty said that sometimes when she was happy, Bea would become furious. Their different styles often clashed during filming. Bea was focused on concentration and staying in character, while Betty was more lighthearted and chatty with everyone around. These differences showed up in unexpected ways when filming stopped for breaks. While Bea would stay concentrated and perhaps remain backstage in her position, Betty would often walk out to talk with the studio audience between takes. According to Bea Arthur's son, Matthew Sachs, Betty White often went out to smile and chat with the audience members, literally making friends with people who had come from all over the country to see the show being filmed. He said his mother did not appreciate these interruptions because she preferred staying focused on her work, while Betty enjoyed connecting with the fans. It was not that Bea hated Betty as a person, but she did not like the interruptions to her concentration. She came from a theater background where discipline and focus were very important, while Betty was used to game shows and TV settings where chatting with audiences and being lighthearted were normal parts of the process. Despite these personality differences, the women were not enemies. Betty White often spoke about how much they actually cared for each other, even when they had moments of tension. She once explained that when you consider how much time and togetherness is involved in making a television series, it would be impossible to do if the cast truly disliked each other. She said it would be bad enough in a dramatic show, but imagine trying to do comedy under those conditions. Betty emphasized that the love and respect between the cast members were what made the show work so well. She said she could not even imagine what the set would have been like if they did not all support and respect one another. The fact that they also happened to genuinely care about each other was an added bonus that could not have been predicted when the show was first put together. Rue McClanahan agreed with this sentiment. In her memoir, she shared that what mattered most to each of them individually, and all of them as a group, was that the chemistry worked perfectly. She said they were extremely funny together, and they achieved that as a team. Even the show's famous theme song had a surprising story behind it. Everyone remembers the cheerful tune, "Thank You for Being a Friend," but that was not the original plan. The producers first wanted to use Bette Midler's song, "Friends," but it was too expensive to license. So instead, they chose Andrew Gold's "Thank You for Being a Friend," which was recorded for the show by Cynthia Fee. The song became one of the most recognizable TV theme songs ever, but it almost never happened. While the music shaped the opening of each episode, personal quirks shaped life on the set. Bea Arthur, for example, really disliked wearing shoes. She disliked them so much that she had it written into her contract that she could walk around barefoot on set. The only condition was that she had to promise not to sue the producers if she got hurt while not wearing shoes. Rue McClanahan had her own unusual contract requirement. As Blanche, she wore glamorous and stylish outfits throughout the series. Rue loved those clothes so much that she arranged to keep them all once filming ended. Imagine having Blanche's entire wardrobe in your own closet after the show was over.